Welcome to Wholesale Hotline. I'm Brent Daniels.
I'm Jamil Damji.
And I'm Jerry Norton.
And I'm Morby.
Every week we bring you the best information on real estate investing.
Be sure to participate in the comments.
And subscribe.
Enjoy the show!
So thank you so much for calling Wholesale Hotline. See ya. Wow, that's great.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 265. My name is Brent Daniels, and I'm joined by the incredible Jerry Norton and by Pace Morby's office. There it is. Oh, there he is. There we go. Good to see you guys. How are you, Jerry?
Good. Fantastic. How are you, Brent?
How was the Squad Up Summit? The biggest, baddest wholesaling real estate investing event ever. Maybe.
Well, last year I thought there's no way Pace can outdo this. Like this is the pinnacle of an event, and he outdid it. This year was just over the top. It was incredible.
Yeah, I don't know how we'll ever outdo it. I was in the office today, just kind of doing a wrap up with everybody and having a chat with. They said, who do we want to have for next year? And I'm like, how do we beat what we had this year? We had Jerry Norton, Dean Graziosi, Cody Sanchez, Tim Story, David Goggins, Jordan Peterson. Who else could I get that actually would make sense to be there? And we hired the greatest event coordinator on the planet. Her name is Barry. And she has become a mentor of mine the last couple of years of how to run events at the highest possible level. She ran Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi's events for the last 21 years. And it shows. And
She did last year, right?
Yeah, she ran last year too. And she said, it's not just about the speakers that you have. It is the order in which you put them. Because we've all been to events before where one speaker speaks about wholesale and then the next speaker talks about how wholesale sucks and that you should do the BRRRR strategy. And then the next person comes up and creative finance is the greatest thing on the planet. And as an audience member, you leave fragmented and no game plan.
Yeah.
You get so much clarity at Squad Up Summit. People leave on fire and they cannot wait until the following year. And I always treat myself like another attendee. I don't feel like I'm the person running the event because I hired somebody to run the event for us. And it really is
exhausted. Were you exhausted, Pace?
Yeah.
I mean, your voice was gone, and I mean, you were full on like every day, on. It's just incredible to see you go.
What happened to me on day 2 is I ate a tree nut and I was hugging the toilet. And it was so bad, I had to get Neosporin for my butt on day 2. And it was so bad. And nobody knew this until after.
Both ends? Is that what you're saying?
It came out all the ends. It felt like it was, I was breaking out in hives. So like my armpits were all rashed up and it was a mess. But you step up to the plate and you swing and you act like a professional and you don't let people know what you're dealing with. And so Squad Up Summit was an incredible event, had a lot of fun, and I'm just right back to it. I'm back to watching the market crash, stocks crashing, crypto crashing. My crypto's down like $500,000 today. And then what was funny is like, here we are the, first week of the month, a lot of my cash flow comes in on my properties. And while the market is crashing, stocks are crashing, all the things with Trump, the Fed, the this, the that, tariffs, my cash flow just keeps coming in no matter what. So I am so grateful to be in real estate. I'm grateful to be a wholesaler, a fix and flipper, a buy and holder. Real estate is by far the best business. And so I'm jazzed up and ready to get back to work.
Can I show you guys this? Isn't this wild? With as much turbulence in all the other markets, look at U.S. housing prices for the last.
This is appreciation.
Years. This is appreciation.
Yeah.
This is the values of housing. Look at that. There has been 7 years out of the last 75 years. 90-91, you've coming off the saving and loan scandal. 2007 to 2011, you're getting all of that, good, financial crisis action. But look at it. I mean, some of it's tiny, right? Some of it's 0.1%, 0.7%, point whatever, right? But look at all that green, baby.
Look at 2021, 19%, 2021.
19%.
I made so much money that year.
Me too.
I was buying Subto deals back. Here's when I started buying Subto deals was in 2012. And so think about all the appreciation I got. And then when 2021 hit, that freaking magical year, not only did I make like $2 million in flipping, we all did.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't miss.
No.
In 2021, if you lost money on a deal, somebody should karate chop you in the gosh dang neck.
In fact, people who got started then got so screwed up because they didn't learn fundamentals. They didn't apply any principles. It was basically just show up and make money, buy anything and make money. It was crazy.
Yeah, but think about that. So you also look at inflation, right? If you go 10 years, just 10 years to 2000, well, this was last year's stats. So you go to 2014 to 2024, it's been an increase of almost 50%. Inflation, 50% over 10 years. Imagine locking in debt.
Yeah. In 2014.
At a remember when you lock in that debt of $250,000 for whatever loan, or you do something creative, when you lock in that debt, that is the hedge against the inflation. Even if you don't have debt, whatever, but if you lock in debt there, that's how you really build massive leverage, because that money is frozen. It's done. Yeah. Right? You lock in that loan, it's for the next 30 years or 15 years or whatever it is. The inflation is not going to affect that. So when you look at $250,000 in a loan in 2012, right, Pace, that's really like $180,000, $160,000 now in today's money. You know what I'm saying?
It's so funny. I have a loan on a property from a couple years ago, and it's at 3.3, and I remember being pissed off that I didn't have it at 3.29 or 3.0. Yeah. I was so mad.
Wow.
It's all perspective. It's all perspective.
Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. So you've got appreciation, you've got debt pay down, and you've got a hedge against inflation. Like, what are we talking about?
Tax
the greatest business ever.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. People that buy stocks, what they'll do is they'll say, well, stocks went up this percent. I earned 18% of my stocks. I made 33% in crypto. I'm like, okay, if you take your mortgage pay down that your tenants are paying for, your cash flow, your appreciation, and your tax benefits, not having to pay 40% in income taxes from the federal government, your return is so much more than you can even comprehend. It is ridiculous how much money can be made in this business.
Yep. Well, and right now with everything going on, you see all the memes and all the posts and everything, and they're like, well, did you know that 93% of the stock market is owned by 10% of the people in the stock market? I don't know if that's a true stat, but it sounds like it probably could be. That's wild. Isn't that wild? Is that a real stat? Do you guys know? It
is a real stat. I looked it up 2 days ago. 50% of people on the planet 50% of people in the United States own zero stocks.
Right.
And it's like it's like 30 or 40% own 10%, and the other 10% own like 80 or 90%.
Well, I wonder if Warren Buffett's going to go on a shopping spree, because he's sitting on, what is it, billions in cash right now.
300 billion in cash. He just sold a bunch of stuff. He is going on a spree. What he said, it was interesting. He just read, I just read this 2 days ago as well. He says what Trump is doing is the greatest thing on the planet for people that know what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He says, everything's going on sale. I saw it happening 2 months ago. I started selling our stocks. They took a massive chunk of stocks, liquidate. They're at 300 billion in cash. He's still not buying. Okay, so what does that tell you? It tells
It's
you that
going
he
down
still
more.
thinks it's going to continue to go down more. Yeah.
Did you
And
see?
I don't know.
Did you see the net worth billionaire list lately? Everybody's gone down except Warren Buffett. He's gone up like 13 or 130 billion. I forget what it is. Some crazy.
Good.
Yeah. That guy's a genius.
All right. Ivan says, "Hey Brent, Jerry, I want to get started in wholesale, fix and flip, etc. I already work in mortgages, but I know starting your business is a whole different animal. Jerry and Brent, how is being a wholesaler or fix and flipper different than showing up to a job every day and being told what to do and when to do it, all that kind of stuff? How is it different?"
Well, I'll go first, Brent.
Yep.
Business owner is different than the thing. Like the worst business owner of a mechanic shop would be a mechanic. You'd be a better business owner that runs a mechanic shop if you don't know anything about mechanicking. I think that's all business. I think especially real estate. You don't need to be running the business is not about doing the thing. You can learn how to do the thing. Learning how to run a business is an entirely different skill set, because now you need to really understand finance, cash flow. You need to understand leadership, team building, hiring and firing. There's a whole nother thing that has to go on there that's got nothing to do with the widget or the house or anything. So where people mess up, in my opinion, where they get all screwed up is they learn how to do something well, and then they think, well, I'm really good at this thing, this job I'm doing or skill I have. I'm going to go start my own business. And then they get their ass handed to them because they're not applying the business fundamentals to be successful as a business owner. They don't quite grasp risk and all the things that go into business. And so the smartest thing anybody could do if they're going to get into real estate or any business is to learn the skills you need to be a good business owner. And those have nothing to do with the actual skill that the business does.
Yeah, I think, listen, a lot of people come from the mortgage business into wholesaling and into flipping and into building really great portfolios for themselves. The real question is, why make the change? Why make the change? Why are you going to get out of mortgages to go into this? Are you going to play both sides of it? How are you going to balance that? Do you have enough? Do you have enough attention to be able to pull that off? Or are you just going to jump right into wholesaling from mortgages? Maybe mortgages isn't what you expected it to be, or maybe it's not what it was before, and you're going to make that leap. What I would say is, the difference between what we're doing and mortgages is typically the mortgages that people are giving you referrals for those deals, whether it's an agent or whether it's a family member or whatever else. I think you got to hunt more when you're starting out here, unless you have a big budget to have people call you. So you got to be more comfortable going direct to the agents, going direct to the actual property owners, as opposed to building the relationship. Like a lot of mortgages is how can I find the best agent and get a bunch of their clients? How can I go build a relationship with people that are really doing, out there hustling and help them in their business? This is you going out there and hunting. And so just make sure that you understand that there's going to be an expectation on your time and talents and attention, and go bananas.
Yeah, I was a loan officer here in Arizona. I don't know if you guys know this, but I was a loan officer here on the number one producing team in Arizona. And notice I didn't say I was the number one producing loan officer because I wasn't. I wanted to become a loan officer because I wanted to get into real estate. Think about that for a second, how stupid that is. You are anything but in real estate if you're a loan officer and a real estate agent. I'm sorry, you are not in real estate. You are a service provider to people who are in real estate. That's like saying the guy who built Jerry's barn owns a barn. No, he doesn't. He built a barn. Okay, he put some wood together. He built Jerry's barn.
Even wholesaling is not really investing. I mean, right?
I go back and forth on that. You own a contract that you invested into marketing. You negotiated and you purchased a house, and you have control over that house over a period of time.
Equitable interest. Yeah.
You have equitable interest in this house, even though it's a short duration. I do believe that I argue that it is investing. There were a couple of years, Jerry, that I said wholesaling is not investing. I just think it's really short term. I think it's like day trading almost, instead of just buying and holding. I think that it is absolutely still investing. You're investing in marketing. You're investing in your time, your energy to own something, and you own that contract on that house for a duration of time, although it is short. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do argue on that other side. So as a loan officer, when I joined a team, here's where the advantage was. I did not have to go out and find my own leads. I worked on a team with a guy named Steve Mikesta, and he gave me my leads. And so I imagine that the gentleman asking this question probably is getting handed his leads.
Yep.
He's probably at Rocket Mortgage or whatnot. And Steve Mikesta made $4 million a year, and I made $400,000 a year. The difference was who controlled the leads and who understood how to run the business. I was essentially a really high-paid employee. And then when I came out into real estate and I jumped into it, Brent's right. You have to go and control the lead. Now, could I go and work for somebody like Jerry or Pace or Jamil or Brent? Brent has some of the best people in the business on his team. They are stellar, unbelievable human beings that just freaking kill it. And those people started out jumping into the game by working for somebody else. And so if you are afraid of 9-to-5 mentality to entrepreneur mentality, the easiest bridge to build is go work for another wholesaler and join their team.
You know what, Pace? It's interesting you say that. That's exactly what I talked about in my presentation at Squat Up Summit. I said one of the keys to really succeeding today and going forward is you have to become direct to deals, because when you're direct to deals, you have options and you control deal flow. And I don't think you can really run a long-term successful business if you don't have control over your lead flow, because otherwise you're subject to something else, somebody else that's doing that, the market, the economy. If you can't source and find your own deals and then decide from there which ones you keep, which ones you don't, then I think you're going to struggle. It's going to be kind of a roller coaster model. And I see that often.
Yeah, I agree with that. Good question here from Keith Warren. What's up, gentlemen? Are you adjusting your offer prices now that tariffs are in place? I've heard lots of buyers say they are scared of economics going on right now. If you guys don't mind, let me touch on this real quick, because my answer is going to be dramatically different than both of you guys. I am primarily a buy and hold investor, and I wholesale stuff that I don't want. I will buy probably $50 million in real estate this year, primarily in RV parks and small multifamily and a couple of mobile home parks. I have slowly started getting out of single family because it's just time to upgrade. And I just don't look for as many deals as I used to because my portfolio is evolving. I'm not changing, I'm evolving, right? I go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. I'm trying to turn into a butterfly. I'm in that transition of trying to fly. And I'm not looking at tariffs at all. I don't give a crap about tariffs, and I'll tell you why. I buy American real estate where Americans live, and I focus on affordable housing where Americans need to live and where they can afford it. I'm not going after luxury stuff. Now, if I was building a luxury home in Puerto Rico where there's tremendous amount of demand, I know I can win. But when we were at Squat Up Summit, my favorite line at Squat Up Summit last week was from Jordan Peterson. He says, the best insulation from chaos is a nourishing vision. And I had to pause for a second, go, what the heck does that even mean? Because he speaks in like tongues almost.
Yeah. And
I was like, okay, I luckily enough, I was the one interviewing him. So I was able to like get more clarity on that. But basically, if you have a 5-year vision of what you're doing, you are not bothered by the little things that happen along the way, the bump in the road, the this, the that, whatever. And my vision is primarily buying deals based on interest rates and cash flow and good areas. Tariffs don't change any one of those three things. Nothing, zero zilch. Now, my wife is a retail agent, and it's interesting. Her clients, she was thinking that her clients that are asking her to help them buy a house were going to slow down on their offers, or, oh my gosh, maybe we're not going to buy right now. She's seeing more demand because people are seeing that interest rates are going to start coming down. And so people are requesting her to go out and shop more. So With that being said, I'm different than Brent and Jerry. What are you guys doing different now that tariffs are happening?
You know, I had a conversation with Elman and Nate, two really, we know him here locally.
Man, I love Elman. He's such a good dude.
He does 120 to 200 flips a year. And Nate used to be his business partner, actually does another 80 to 100 flips a year. And he said, well, I'm just getting ready to hear it from my contractors. They're going to add the tariff fee on all of their bids going forward. And he's going to ask him, but is it really, are prices really going up? Or are you just using this as, you know, a little bit of leverage to get an extra 10, 15, 20% on your contractor bid, right? So I think that's interesting, but that's a trickle down effect into the conversations that we also have with property owners. You know what I mean? If that is the case, and if our cash buyers are going to be tighter with their numbers because their contractors are telling them this, whether it's true or not, then it goes to the cash buyers, then it goes down to us, then it goes down to the seller, obviously. So I'm curious to hear. I'm not I get from buyers, but it could happen.
Yeah, so I know Keith well. He's on my dispo team, and he's awesome. And one thing I would just add to all of that is, as a wholesaler, you know, it's very transient, and you're moving real time with the market, right? Because you're in contracts, you're selling those to cash buyers, and it's all about perception today. So a good wholesaler stays really close to the cash buyer market, and whatever their concerns are now your concerns. If we're talking about on the sales side. Now, likewise, when you're talking to sellers, kind of same thing. What they're watching on CNN or whatever is going to be front and center in their mind. So a good wholesaler is using whatever's in the news or whatever the market's doing, and you're using that for some talking points to help leverage your positioning. And that would be when you buy, and that would be when you sell. But one thing that I try to do is whatever I think is irrelevant, what does the market think is happening, and how are they adjusting to what's happening? Because whatever they're doing and however they're adjusting is also how you need to adjust. So Keith, as you're talking to all these buyers, if they're all adjusting their prices down because they're worried about tariffs, for example, then that's good feedback on buy side so that we can adjust down with them, so we can just flow with the market as it goes up and down.
Yeah. I think, listen, you know, let's have conversations with our buyers. Let's have them respond to the deals that we're sending out, and then act accordingly. But I'm sure it's a buzzword that people are going to use all over the place for negotiations, whether it comes from the contractors, the cash buyers, or us. It's going to be a conversation that's had, especially, you know, right now, maybe for the next 30, 60, 90 days. We'll see. I got a contractor bid for new air conditioning units at my cabin in Flagstaff. And the guy said, and it said pending tariff information. Like it could go up, you know, 20% or something like that. So they're already playing.
It's funny because I'm putting in like 3,000 feet of fences right now here at my property. And my contractor tried it on me. He's like, oh man, I gave you that bid, but now we get our lumber from Canada and tariffs. And so I'm going to need to get a little bit more. And I'm like, really? So I call around, and it's like BS. Like, it's not true. There's plenty in stock. Prices haven't gone up. It was just a tactic to try to get me a little bit.
And I get it. I mean, it's free game. Do what you got to do, but do your due diligence on your side as well, for sure.
Yeah. Great point. Jerry Lima. Best transactional funding lenders. If you guys need money for fix and flips, email me. You guys need money for transactional lending, double close, EMD. I did a business loan transaction. I'm lending a guy $200,000 on a Walmart transaction. Weirdest loan I've ever done. Whatever money need you need or you have, email money@pacemorby.com. I know Jerry Norton also does transactional lending.
Yeah.
Jerry, how can people get a hold of you on your lending?
So we have a program. You go to usejerryscash.com and you can register for training, learn about it. We're also doing a pilot program. It's mostly for takedown deals where it's 100% funding, but we'll do flips if they make sense. But yeah, I mean, just like Pace, as an educator, you know, I feel like capital is one of the key things that people need to keep growing and developing in this business. So If you're not, guys, you should be making capital raising, funding a priority, because those are the people that are going to continue to win at this business, are the people that know how to either control finance through what Pace teaches, where you take over debt or create debt, or you can raise the capital to come in and fund the projects. But there's no other way to get to those next levels until you start learning capital structure.
Yeah, and this is a good question too. Sandra Verhoeven, she is a Canadian. Sandra says, do you guys do 100% fix and flips? Now, Jerry just said yes, but I'll add to that. The answer is yes. We will fund 100% of your fix and flip, including your renovation, including your closing costs, including everything. However, here's what will end up happening. If you are brand new and it's your first fix and flip, we will typically pair you up with somebody who is more experienced than you are in that local area, so that you can make sure you do not get screwed over by contractors. The project is managed properly, because we've all seen amazing deals ran into the ground because of poor management based on lack of experience. So if you are inexperienced and it's your first deal, I will still fund your deal 100%, but we will probably pair you up with somebody that's highly experienced and have you JV that deal with them, so that they can walk you through, let them use let you use their contractors, their processes, their relationships at the city offices for permits and those types of things. And also, the reality is, somebody that's been in the business for a long time, like a Jerry, a Jamil, a Brent, a Pace, or Elman, who actually I used to do fix and flips for 12 years ago as a contractor. These experienced fix and flippers get better pricing than somebody that's brand new. You don't even know where to look. You think we buy stuff from Home Depot. I'm sorry, but very rarely will contractors buy things from Home Depot. They go to these little outlet spots and they find the perfect place to get everything that they need, 30, 40% below Home Depot. Home Depot is a good place to go, but it's where freaking Tom, Dick, and Harry go that are retail buyers. These are retail clients going to Home Depot. Now, if you have a pro account, you can get up to 30% off of Home Depot, which is an amazing start. But still, when you have an experienced flipper that's been in that market for 10 years, they know tile places that they can get wholesale rates at that are actually below what Home Depot buys the tile at. So email money@pacemorby.com for whatever money needs that you have. I have a whole team of people, Heather, Jade, Shelly, Kelly, a bunch of badasses that run that team. They will communicate with you. And Mateo says, do you provide proof of funds for offers? No, I would be really stupid to do that after what just happened with RJ Bates and what's that lady's name out of Texas?
Espinoza.
RJ didn't do anything wrong. So RJ's my friend. Espinoza took his proof of funds and got him, he didn't get into trouble, luckily, but she was using a proof of funds. A proof of funds can be used incorrectly when you just give it out as a blanket statement, okay? So I only give proof of funds to my Subto community members, and I give them my actual bank account number, and I give them my banker's information. So when their seller, their agent, or whoever needs to verify, my banker will actually get on the phone. I just do that for the right people that I know I can filter and vet, okay? Shari says,
I would add to that, Pace, on the, your first fix and flip. You're taking on an element of risk because you got to buy the thing, take title, fund it, renovate it, manage it, all the things. So the one way that you really isolate that is just make sure you've got a really good deal. Like, buy that thing super deep, give yourself lots of room for error. If you go over budget or it doesn't sell for as much, you still make money. Maybe it's not as much as you were hoping, but you still come out of there ahead. Like, that's the way that you want to break into fix and flip if you're new, is just be a little more patient. Make sure it's a really good deal.
Yeah, 100%. Ron says, will you loan on assisted living properties? The answer is yes. If the deal is a deal, not a contract, but an actual deal. And here's what's cool about going through somebody like my team. Get a deal under contract and send it over to my team and say, how much will you fund on this deal? What does it look like? And my team will tell you what the comps are. They will actually run the comps for you and say, this is not a deal, my friend. You should stay away from this. We have saved literally thousands of people from buying dog shit deals.
Sometimes your best deals are the ones you don't buy.
100%. And so a good lending team will actually tell you, they won't say, hey, it's rejected because of comps. They'll actually say it's rejected because of comps, and here's what you should have bought it at. If you can buy it at this price, we'll fund it, but you have it locked up way too high. Get a lender that knows how to do that. Jerry, you guys can reach out to my team, money@pacemorby.com. Just send them an email, money@pacemorby.com, saying, I need money. Jerry, how can people get a hold of you for your lending?
There's a link for it. Send me I don't know the link. Send me a DM and I'll give you the link. Yeah, but it's it's straight to an application. You fill it out. We'll look at the deal. We'll underwrite it for you, and we'll tell you if we can do it 100% or not. I mean, the big things that we're looking at are, if you're brand new, the deal better offset the newbie factor. So it better be a really good deal. We're going to be looking for extra deep equity on that one. Ideally, if you have more than a 400 credit score, I can't believe how many people fill out the forms and submit for funding, and they literally have a 450 credit score. I don't even know how you can have a 450. I mean, that means you're working hard to not pay your bills to have a 400 credit score. I mean, so because we want to know that if crap
I've been there, Jerry. I've been there. 2008 and 9 were rough, bro. But yeah. No, you know what? Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, and then at least a couple $1,000s in your bank. I mean, your bank account. Like, we're seeing people that are like, they got less than $1,000 in their bank account, a 400 credit score. They've never done a deal, and they're asking for 100% funding. It's like, man, you got to get your personal life in order somewhat before you start going and doing stuff like that. Like, if you can't pay your bills, how are you going to run a business, or how are you going to rehab a house if you can't even pay your bills? You know, like, get your house in order.
Yeah, I was talking with Nate and Elman, and they've got a co-list agent on their team. They've got a runner and they've got a project manager. So 3, at least Nate. And anywhere that they will net anywhere between 4% in like last year, which is their lowest year, and 9%, 8 to 9% in good years of the price they sell their properties for, which is right around 400,000. So for 16,000 a deal, they don't have to source their deals. They have wholesalers bringing them deals. Okay. So they have no marketing budget. They have no office budget. They have none. They just have those 3 people. Is that a better model if you can raise funds?
Well, I mean, they are paying marketing. They're paying it through a wholesaler's fee. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
right.
Because they're not buying. They're not getting the deep.
That's rolled into the you know, the closing costs and the cash to close at the at title.
And you said their average profit is how much?
4% in bad years, 9% in good years.
I mean,
so anywhere from 16,000 to probably 30,000.
I don't like that model. I don't like a volume model. I like a margin model. I'd rather do 10 deals instead of 50 and make twice as much money. Life is easier. There's not as much headache. There's not enough stress. You're not running around doing tons of projects. I mean, that's just me. I see some people do volume well.
They're selling to the biggest pool of buyers, which is typically the first time, second time home buyers, right? So they stay in those price ranges so that they don't get too crazy. I mean, sometimes they do.
I mean, everybody's got a model that works for them. I personally don't like the volume model. I mean, I treat the same way, Brent. I know you do with wholesaling. I mean, would you rather do 100 $5,000 assignments or 10 $25,000 assignments?
Yeah, 10 for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Both get you to the end, but one is a whole lot more work.
Yeah. Well, and then then there's another question, Jerry, which is, would you rather 40 grand in 20 days or 75 grand in 120 days? 40 grand in 20 days or 75 grand in 120 days? If you're fine with cash flow.
Well, it's taking you 3 times as long to make 75.
Correct.
Well,
which would be a flip. It would be a flip as opposed to an assignment.
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah.
You can assign it today for 42,000, get paid in 20 days, or you can flip it pretty low risk, but at the end of the day, you net 75. Would you rather do more 75 deals than you do the assignments? You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's going to have to deal with this as you mature in this business, right? You're going to look at it and you go, holy cow, I could take this thing down. I could, put 30, 40 grand into it and I can sell it and make 75, 80,000, or I can make, 40 now or 45.
Yeah. But it's not just the dollars. It's the output to do the 75, right? So let's take the $40,000 deal. That takes 5 hours total to do that deal. The $75,000 deal is going to take 150 hours, or whatever. I'm just saying it's more because there's just so much more bandwidth that goes into fix and flip than wholesaling per deal.
Let's say you have a solid crew construct. You hire Pace in his heyday. He goes in, he whips it out. They're done in 30, 45 days. It looks beautiful. It's a good product.
I mean, that's a lot of systems. I don't think that's the average guy, to get to that level where you've got a really good team that's doing all the heavy lifting.
Yep.
I mean, most flippers I know, they're very hands-on. They're very involved in the decisions and the day-to-day. They got to go to the job sites. It's a lot more work.
So is it always better to be a wholesaler than a flipper?
Well, there's a point where the margin flipping starts to make a whole lot of sense. I just think it's got to be, you just got to really understand the trade-off of time, energy, and effort. And that payday better be significant. So like, for example, my Puerto Rico deal, Pace alluded to a minute ago. I mean, I should make a couple $1 million on that deal. And, I spend maybe 2 hours a week involved in the deal. So, it's 18 months, so it's a lot and it's a lot of money. I probably spend more time dealing with structure and things like that, interviewing agents and other things that are part of it. But if I make $3 million on one deal, you know what I mean? So I think there starts to become a point where it does make sense to think about, should I keep this one and take on the extra work to make the profit? Everyone's just got to decide if where you draw that line.
But people hear you say you're going to make multiple millions on this deal, and they have to understand that you've done a lot of fix and flips.
Took a long time to get there.
So at some point you made the decision, hey, I'm not going to assign this deal. I'm going to flip this. I'm going to build up my experience in flipping to be able, because it's real tough, Jerry, for me to go, hey, I've been wholesaling everything for a long time, to go, I'm going to go develop a ground up $7 million property. You know what I mean? I would screw that up royally.
Yeah, but the same thing applies. Like I remember when I was doing 50 to 80 entry-level fix and flip. So these were like $150,000, $170,000 properties, FHA buyers, and I'd make 25 on them on average, 25 to 30. And then I moved into an entirely different price point. And the following year I did 10 or so fix and flips instead of 50. And I made more money doing 10 than I did doing 50.
Right.
And the only thing that changed was I just went up into the $500,000 price point instead of the $150,000 price point. I just went to better neighborhoods, same crew, same process, same everything, more capital, but essentially the same work.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you guys want to ask us a question live, come on here. I just put the link in the side chat. By the way, we will not answer a question to somebody who does not turn their camera on. We have somebody named Jaron who is in the backstage with his devices not connected. And also, don't be one of these people that when you're asking a question, it looks like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, put your phone down. Look like this. Be normal. Be a normal human being, okay? Marcellus Wallace says, what's the story behind your guys' juiciest wholesale deals? Our YouTube channel has all of that. I would go check that out. A really interesting comment I want to bring up, and I just want to show you guys. I like showing these kind of comments. Right here. This guy says, hey, clown, take that hat off. I served 20 years for that flag, and you don't deserve to wear it. And I was thinking, who is he talking to? Is he talking to me? Am I wearing what? Then I realized he's talking about Jerry and his American flag on his hat. Guys, I'm just going to let you know. that for the rest of your life, you will run into people that just have hatred in their hearts and there's nothing you can do about it. Jerry pays taxes. He supplies people with jobs. He's American. He deserves to wear the American. Did you see this comment, Jerry, about your flag
Hey,
hat?
clown, take that hat off. What hat? My hat?
Yeah. I know. My point is this, guys. My point is this.
Okay, wait. I will. Happy now?
Isn't it interesting that no matter what you do in your life, you will have people say some just ignorant, hateful stuff. Lieber King, whatever you need in your life, please send me a private message. I'm happy to help you out. Brother, you need a hug, you need something. Happy to help you out, whatever you need, okay?
I actually collect flag hats. I have probably 100 different United States flag hats.
I have people.
Why do you like wearing them, Jerry?
I'm just very patriotic. I'm proud to be American. I love our country, and I don't know. I'm grateful for our veterans. I came from nothing and built an amazing life, and most people can't do that outside of America. I just have tremendous love for our country.
Same here, brother. Same here. Mike J, just so you know, you have repeatedly asked about, can somebody help me lock up this deal at $1.2 million? The ARV is 1.5. Mike J, your question is great. We need you up here on the live. Please, Mike J, click the link. It's in the side chat. Come up here and ask this question live. We need you to come on here. Everybody needs to hear the answer to this question. Okay.
I'll tell you right now, 1.2 is not way too high.
Well, I already know that, but the best question to actually ask him is, who is your buyer? Before you even go and lock up a deal at that expensive of a number, who's the buyer for that deal and what are they going to do with it? Okay. We should have that conversation. Let's go to Christian Nation. All right, Christian Nation, is that your name or is that just your YouTube name?
Christian is my name.
Okay, awesome. What do you got?
Hello, Pace. My God, man. First, let me tell you that I'm a huge fan, brother. I've been watching you recently. It's just amazing. Your community is amazing. But I have a problem, my friend. I haven't made my first deal. I don't know really where to start. I did buy the JV contracts and these contracts that you have like for $1 in your page. But I don't know how to use it. I don't know who to reach. Really don't know what to ask. All these kind of things, right? I'm a construction worker here in Canada. I know a lot about construction, so I think I can bring a lot of things into the table. However, I need to close my first deal, and I really don't know how to do it.
Okay, so here's a really quick one. I'll show you. Okay. And you're not going to like this answer, but I'm going to give it to you. Okay. Type in how to get started Pace Morby, and you will see I do a how to get started like almost every 3 to 4 months. Okay. Go and watch how to get started videos from Pace Morby. Now, here's another thing I'll do for you. I have been showing a lot of people how to just bird dog and bring deals to me. I've been buying a lot of deals lately. DM me the word bird dog. Just like go to my Instagram DMs and type in bird dog. I don't care if it's 2 words, 1 word, bird dog. And I will send you a 32-minute video on exactly how you can find deals for me. It's completely free. I had a girl named Kelly make $10,000 2 months ago. A girl named Dajay got her first deal. She made $5,000 in literally 2 hours worth of work. And I will show you exactly how to do the work. That is how I answer that question.
Perfect. That sounds awesome. Thank you for answering the question, my friend, because, I really want to get into the community and start doing deals. Like I work in construction and don't get me wrong, I like construction, but I want to do something better. Are
you wanting to do fix and flip?
He doesn't care what he does. He just wants to get his first deal. He doesn't care what that means. He doesn't care if it's a fix and flip, a wholesale, a buy and hold. He just wants to get some sort of activity going. Am I right, Christian?
Yep.
There we go. I read minds. I don't know if you knew that, Jerry, but I read minds.
I was just going to tell them the worst flippers are contractors because they end up doing half the work themselves instead of, building a business.
That was me, dude. I got to tell you something really quick. So my first deal was a house on Plata Avenue, and it was my first. No, it's this one, Plata Avenue on the west side. I'm sorry, the far east side. It's like almost Gold Canyon.
Yeah.
And I buy this deal. Laura found it for me from Kyle Weiloge.
Oh yeah.
This is back when Laura worked for Kyle Weiloge. This was before my first wholesale deal. So this was when I was just a contractor. This was before the bunny story. This was my first flip I did. So I buy the deal from Kyle Weiloge. I go do all the work myself. I'll tell you how old this was. I recorded myself on Vine. If you guys remember Vine, okay?
Bring it back. They need to bring it back.
They should bring it back. So I recorded myself on Vine. That's how long ago this was. I finished the flip. It takes me 30 days. I do all the work myself because, I'm a freaking contractor, man. I know what I'm doing. House looks great. And I'm getting ready I'm cleaning the windows. I'm even cleaning. I should have paid somebody $200 to clean the freaking house. It took me 3 days. I'm cleaning the windows and I realized gosh, dang it. I should have blinds on this house. And so I go and I spend $3,000 on blinds and I get them custom cut. And they show up a week later. So I burn through a week's worth of hard money waiting for this.
Yeah.
Then I go install the blinds myself. And as I'm hanging the blinds, I'm looking to the backyard and I notice, you know what? This backyard doesn't look that nice. So I decide I'm going to go put a $20,000 landscape package in the backyard. And I finally, after 30 more days of burning through more hard money, I go and I'm about to put it on the market. And I get a text message from a hedge fund. And they go, hey, we saw you were working on that house and you pulled a permit. We'd like to buy that house sight unseen. And I'm like, you're not going to inspect the house or anything? And they go, nope. And I'm like, well, you won't be able to see my nice blinds and my landscape package I put in. What? They don't care. They don't freaking care. Nobody cares. And I was so emotional about this freaking thing. I was trying to make everything perfect. Jerry could not be more right. These contractors get obsessed with every element of the gosh dang house. And I missed out on probably making an extra $40,000. I walked away making $19,000 on my first flip, but I could have walked away making probably $50,000 if I hadn't burned through hard money and spent $23,000 on a landscape package and some blinds. So yes, you are so correct. Yeah. Jay Arabi, are you Mike J? Obviously, you're not Mike J. I'm trying to get Mike J on here. Jay Arabi, what do you got for us? Oh, you are Mike J?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Mike J, you're the one with the $1.2 million deal that has an ARV of $1.5 million. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's it has an ARV of 1.5, but and the seller is he's asking for 1.2, but I believe we can get him down some more because he said he's negotiable on a price.
Okay, so my first question, anytime I hate luxury, okay? Jerry likes luxury, I don't. That doesn't mean he's right or I'm right. It just is a personality thing and an experience thing. Jerry has bigger balls than I do. Obviously, we know that he has 10 kids. But I stay away from luxury. It scares the death out of me. When I have been in flips, I'm sure, Brent, you've been here. Jerry, you've been here. 2023, I was in the middle of 5 flips that I was supposed to make $500,000 collectively on those 5 flips. That because the interest rates were going up so rapidly, I ended up losing $500,000. It was $1 million swing. I ended up refinancing and keeping those houses. So I look at a luxury house as absolutely, there's no way I will never flip a house. This is a personal decision. Jerry and Brent might be very different. I will never flip a house that I would not put in my portfolio because you never know what kind of crap can happen. So I look at a $1.2 million house. I immediately say no. And then the second question I have is, who's going to be the buyer at 1.2 million when it's a $1.5 million ARV? First and foremost, when you sell it for 1.5 million, the fix and flipper is going to get like 1.37. Then it's going to probably cost them $200,000 or $300,000 to clean up the house with burning, holding costs, then the cost of acquisition, hard money. The right purchase price on that house is probably $700,000 to $850,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good to know.
How much is the repairs? Do you know the repairs?
It's going to be around I'm thinking about 150, 160.
How big is it?
It's 4,800 square feet. And it's built in the 80s.
200, bro.
300. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then,
Jerry,
and then if you think it's 200,
yeah.
and then if you think it's 200, add another 100. Call it 300. Seriously.
Okay.
So then you want to be at Pace is right on. You want to be at 700, 750 maybe.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's good to know.
It's so hard to express to people how big of a deal this is. If you guys don't mind, I'd love to go into my flip calculator of like something that my wife created a couple of years ago and show you guys like what this number is. Do you mind if I take a couple minutes, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do your thing. I think it's important because there's so many more fees that you just don't expect. And they blindside you like, oh man, I didn't even think of insurance. I didn't even think about the utilities. I didn't think about, the every single month of the
$20,000 refrigerator. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then you get down to the end of it and somebody breaks in and steals all your appliances. Now you're screwing around, and there's always something. There's always something. Oh, it's a tile roof in Arizona in a master plan community. There could be nothing wrong with the roof. Oh no, it needs a whole new roof. It's 20 years old. It needs a new underlayment. That's $12,000. It's crazy things like that. Oh, you didn't get the septic inspected when you bought it? Oh boy, here we go. There's always little extra things.
So let's check this out. Okay, we're gonna go estimated sales price 1.5 million. Okay. Estimated hold time. How many months is $200,000 going to take, Jerry?
6 months, 6 to 9 months for that project.
Okay, so hold time, the project is 180 days. Then a house that's selling for 1.5 million. How many months is it going to take for them to sell it on the retail market?
It'll definitely depend on the market and but I would call the whole thing 9 months.
Okay. So 9 months, which would be 270 days. Okay. Purchase contract.
Now you might get it done sooner, but you got a budget, right? You got a budget for it taking longer than you think.
Okay, so I'm going to then say my purchase contract, let's say, is $1.2 million. Oops, my bad. Maximum allowable offer, 70%. Okay, great. Wholesale calculated closing cost, title insurance. Let's just say
I'd put that at 8.
Okay, that's on the purchase though. That's the purchase.
Oh,
not the sale.
Okay. Yeah, it's not going to be 6 then,
it's
right?
Probably going to be something like maybe 2% max on that deal. Okay, repairs.
Put that at 300.
I mean, bro, I haven't even done my renovations yet, and I'm already losing 32 grand. Like if I won't even take the time to go through this. If you guys want the calculator on this, DM me the word calculator. I'll give you guys the calculator. Completely free. It's something that my wife built a long time ago for our fix and flips. You have no idea until you flipped a house how deep you have to buy a house just to barely get by.
Okay. Hey, so listen, I have one more question for you.
9 inches.
Do y'all have anybody? No, I don't need nothing. I don't need to know about that.
Oh, I thought you were asking about how big my wrist is. Okay, got it.
I don't need to know about that. Any of y'all are into like real estate development? I know of a seller that is looking to get rid of his 128 acres. And
okay,
yeah.
Here's what I would do. This is so easy. You are very, very new, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty new.
Let me show you how easy this is. Jerry, can you share your screen or no? Or do you want me to go to Property Radar?
You do it.
PropWire, sorry. Check it out. I'm going to go to Property Radar, and you're going to tell me the city that you're. I'm sorry, PropWire. Okay. I'm going to go to PropWire. I'm going to log into this bad boy, and I'm going to show you guys how easy it is. You don't ask me if we're interested. You go find the people that are buying in that area already. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Chances are it's going to be some podunk town. What city is it?
Youngsville.
Exactly, bro. Nobody knows where that is. Okay. They don't even have
Where
a
is that?
Where is that place?
Where is Youngsville?
If it's 2 hours from a city that people actually know, it ain't a place where I'm investing. Okay. Just FYI. So let's show.
You invested into a property near that area, actually, Pace.
What is it? What did I buy?
You bought an apartment complex in Lafayette.
Oh, Lafayette. Yeah, that was 4 years ago before I learned how to not do that ever again. Okay, so check this out. This is in Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay, so Lafayette, what's the name of the city? Okay, right here, Youngsville. Okay, cool. So wouldn't it make sense for me to just go find buyers in this area?
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
Okay, Jerry, how do I find a buyer in PropWire in this area?
Go to lead types.
Okay.
Put cash buyers.
Okay.
And then you could even go down and find land. Keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling down. Lots, probably right there. Vacant lots.
Okay.
I mean, they might not be developers, but these are people that are buying land.
Okay, love it, love it. Okay, so here we go. We got 1,426 results. Okay, what I want to do is I might go to like absentee owner, obviously. I want to be like years of ownership. I want to be minimum 10 years. No. This is buyers. Let's see. Property filters.
Land. Click on the land one.
Where? Oh, land right here. There we go. Okay, let's save and close. Okay, 1,426. So here's what I would do. I would find people that have bought land that is close to the property that I'm looking for, and I would call them. You just click on this and you find the address. You can find the owner. You can find all the information. That is where I would go. It's honestly so easy compared to when we got into the business.
Oh my gosh.
It's like in 10 seconds, I can find exactly what I need.
When I started, there was one strategy: driving for dollars. Maybe direct mail at that time.
And no website to help you out.
Nothing, no tools, no skip tracing, nothing, like no list you can get, nothing.
There was no wholesale hotline to walk me through PropWire in like 14 seconds. So how much time did that take us to go pull up a buyer? Like 15 seconds?
Yeah, it's that easy. Yeah.
It truly is that easy. Now, here's the beautiful thing. I'm going to tell you a secret, okay? When people tell you to reach out to sellers and real estate agents before you have a buyer, they call that wholesaling. And then what they tell me is they say, well, what Pace does, which is finding the buyer first and then going and finding a deal for that buyer, they go, oh, Pace, that's reverse wholesaling. No, it's not. That is the way a brand new person that is brand spanking new should start. Do not start with the seller. Start with the buyer. Call the buyers who are actively buying. Now, here's the question, okay? Here's why I argue this. Jerry and Brent might feel differently. But remember, if I'm Jerry and I'm Brent and I'm Pace and you drop me off in the middle of Oklahoma, okay? And I have to get a deal by the end of the day. I'm not starting with a buyer. I'm starting with a seller. Why? Because I know what I'm doing. And I know how to comp a property and I know what a good deal is. And I'm going to go right to the seller. Okay. When I'm brand new, how dare you call a seller and how dare you call an agent without you actually having a buyer to back you up? That's my personal opinion. And I'll tell you why. You will be so gosh dang afraid when a seller or an agent says yes to you that you will cripple yourself and you won't take any more action. Okay. First and foremost, people will just Google and look around and Zillow and they'll look at all these properties. But when you find a buyer and you know exactly what that buyer's buying because you can see it on PropWire, you know that that person's a legit buyer. And most legit buyers, most of them, 90+% of them, are not actively going out and looking for their own deals. It's the weirdest thing. It is the weirdest thing when you realize that these buyers need us wholesalers desperately. Okay. They are so busy managing their contractors, managing permits, managing their lenders, raising more capital for more projects, finding more wholesalers like you. They don't have time to go and find these deals.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
if you're brand new, don't ever call a seller or an agent until you have 5 buyers that are telling you what they want. Let me ask you a question. Okay. What is your real name, by the way?
It's Jamie, by the way.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Okay, Jamie. Let's say that you invest $100,000 in me because you found out I'm an amazing sandwich creator. I can make the best sandwich on the planet. Okay. And you say, Pace, I want to put $100,000 into you because you're going to go open up a sandwich shop. Cool. I take your $100,000 and I spend every penny so intelligently on a really cheap location, getting the right equipment, getting the right ingredients, hiring a couple of employees, putting a sign on the shop, everything. But I can't sell a gosh dang sandwich and you don't get a return on your sandwich. And you call me up, you go, Pace, it's Jamie. I'm wondering, man, why haven't I gotten a return? I go, dude, I don't know, man. This shop is amazing. It looks beautiful. I got the employees. We're ready to build sandwiches, but I just can't get any customers. And you go, dude, I am so frustrated hearing this story over and over, month after month, Pace. Where's my money? In fact, where's the shop? I'm going to come down there and I'm going to beat your ass and I'm going to get my $100,000.
Yeah, right.
I tell you the address of the shop and it's in the middle of the desert with no foot traffic.
You'll be pretty mad.
Would that make sense? Would that make sense for somebody to go put a sandwich shop in the middle of the desert with no foot traffic whatsoever? Yes or no?
No, it would not make sense.
Okay, so what did I fail to do? What I failed to do was to find where the customers are. Foot traffic. Who's buying? What are they buying? Are they buying ham sandwiches or turkey sandwiches? If I'm in Houston, Texas, are people buying different sandwiches than if I'm in Gilbert, Arizona? Or better yet, you're in Louisiana. Do people in Louisiana have a different palate for food than people in New York City?
Oh, most definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys eat basically the most insane shit on the planet Earth. You guys pull things out of muddy rivers and you deep fry them and you call it food, okay? Just kidding.
yeah.
It's, by the way, your food
Spicy too.
It's
Good old
phenomenal.
spice. Oh,
The best cornbread I've ever had on the planet was in Louisiana. The best. Okay, you guys have great food, but it's different food. Agree?
Agreed. Yes.
Okay, so it's pretty irresponsible for me to go out and start selling stuff before I know who my customer is. Correct?
That's right. Yeah.
So why are you calling sellers and real estate agents and looking for turkey and ham and Swiss cheese when you don't even know what your customer wants?
Well, where I'm at.
I know where you're at. This is why I'm giving you the advice.
I see the potential, and I see there's a bunch of other developments going up.
Until you have flipped a house, you don't know what potential is.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm sorry to say this. It's going to save you a ton of time. You don't make a sandwich and then find out who wants to buy it. You ask people what sandwich they want, and you go and make it. Okay?
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm saying this in the very beginning. Okay. I'm saying this in the beginning. After like 5-6 deals, you can start exploring, but I'm going to save so many people on this live so much freaking time. Call your buyers. Hey, I saw you on PropWire. I pulled your information up. You flip this house, you flip this house, you flip this house. Can I bring you deals? How many are you buying? What are you looking for? Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to go find something for them. Foreclosure, expired listing, whatever list you're pulling. And you're then going to bring it to this buyer who will not go around you, by the way. You want to know why? The only people that go around you are people in Facebook groups who profess to be cash buyers. They are not cash buyers. They are freaking daisy chainers.
Yeah.
The people that are on PropWire are actual buyers, and they will not go around you because they're busy managing their projects. Hey, buyer, my name's Jamie. I want to bring you deals. I see you bought and here's the other thing. You don't have to guess what they're buying, because they will tell you, one, and two, you can verify it on PropWire. You can see the actual houses that they flipped, right?
Yeah.
So now when you go out and you reach out to a seller or an agent and you say, hi, I represent a cash buyer. I'd like to give you an all cash offer. Do you feel more confident in that offer, or do you feel less confident in that offer?
Oh, most definitely feel more comfortable.
Okay. So everybody on here that is brand new and you haven't done a deal, your first step, in my opinion, Jerry and Brent might have a different opinion. Again, brand new. This is not how I started out. I wish I did. It would have saved me 7 years of lying to myself that I was going to get in the business. Find the buyer first. Look for your first couple of deals for that buyer. Then start branching out. Okay. Brent and Jerry, where do you think I'm wrong about this?
Brent, what are your thoughts?
I think that being able to build the skills of effectively finding good deals is important. I think you can have better conversations with buyers if you're out there being proactive as well. But I agree, Pace. I mean, I was the first 50 deals I sold to the same 3 or 4 buyers. I sold it to Chris Hyman, Kyle Brown. I sold it to Nate Nelman. You know what I mean? That's who I sold my first 50 deals to, and I made half of what I could have made on those deals.
But you got the reps in the living room. You got the reps on the phone, which is what I did. This is why you're so good on the phone. This is why I'm good on the phone, is because I didn't have to worry about the bull crap on the back end. And I was and now Brent, you were my mentor that helped me branch out. I hired you. I became a TTP student, I think in 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
And I went to Brent and I said, I'm selling all my deals. Actually, Brent I didn't tell him that. He pulled that out of me. I said, I want to double how much money I'm making. And he said, well, who are you selling your deals to? And I said, well, I'm selling all my deals to Jamil, all my deals to Chris Hyman, all my deals to John May, all my deals to Elman, all my deals to all these people. And you go, well, keep selling them to Elman because he's actually flipping them. But Jamil's making 10 grand on every deal, and Chris Hyman's making 20 grand on every deal, and you're taking home half the money. And I said, wow, I guess I probably should have done that a year earlier. I made a lot of mistakes. My first mistake was wanting to get started in 2023. I'm sorry, wanting to get started when I was 23, not getting started until I was 30, because I thought I had to call sellers and agents first to get a deal when I should have been calling a buyer to have a backup to go find them deals. If I knew that, I would have gotten a deal 7 years earlier. I got lucky that a lady forced me through my first deal. And then for my first 150, maybe 200 deals, I sold those deals through somebody else. And then I had to learn a new skill a little bit later. But Brent,
I also think, Pace, that from 2015 to probably mid 2022, you could sell anything. I think we had a nice 5, 6, 7.5 year run up where you could make mistakes on the acquisition side and still sell the property because interest rates were low. The demand was still high. 6 million properties were selling a year around the United States. Now, when it's 4 million properties, you really have to build the relationship with the buyers that are, one, going to stick around for the long term, and two, they're going to be real picky as to what they buy. So you better be fishing again. You better have your restaurant somewhere where there's some foot traffic.
Here's what I would add, Pace. I think you're 100% right. However, it should take you 1 full day of concerted effort to get a active buyers list of real buyers in your market. Like get the list of 20 or 30 or whatever. And then you're going to be right back to where you originally started, which is you're going to have to go find good deals. So like, just don't get hung up on it. You know, like I love what Pace said. I have a finder program. People love it because I lay out, here's my criteria. Here's my buy box. Here's what I'm looking for. Now go to work and go find a good deal. And now you don't have to worry about a buyer because I'm your buyer. As long as it meets this criteria, I'll buy it. which is what Pace is explaining. Like, find those people in your market. They love buying from wholesalers because they don't want to do the work to go find the deals. They're happy to pay you your fee. They just want the deal at their number, and get that active list and then go to work. So I think, Pace, it's just it shouldn't be overly complicated to get a hold of that list of buyers.
I agree 100%. What's interesting is that I wasted 7 years of my life avoiding the phone and avoiding getting started because I didn't have the belief that somebody would buy my deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And what will happen, like, again, it's not, Jerry, I think that you're just being overly like optimistic with people.
Simplifying. Yeah.
I don't think it's even an hour. Like, if Jerry and I did a live right now, like tomorrow, we did a live on YouTube. We use PropWire. In 1 hour, we're finding 10 legitimate buyers in
10 to 12 in an hour for sure. And having quality conversations.
And I don't need 10 to 12. I need 5.
Yeah.
And so I think that small little sliver of having a quality buyer who really has the capability of closing. I'm not finding these idiots in Facebook groups. Buyers don't hang out in Facebook groups primarily. Okay. That's usually JV wholesalers, and there's nothing wrong with them except for the ones that lie and say, I'm a cash buyer, but they have never bought a deal in their life. They're just daisy chaining. 1 hour, you got a buyer's list. Then you know exactly what to go look at. Then you can go to PropWire and use the filters that your buyers gave you and go build the turkey sandwich for the person that says, I only eat turkey sandwiches.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if you guys know this, but Jamil doesn't eat ham or bacon, right? He has
fried chicken.
He'll eat fried chicken. He will not eat pork because it's a religious thing. So why would I bring the guy bacon? Well, bacon's good, Pace. Okay, but my buyer is not going to buy the bacon. Like,
wait, Jamil doesn't eat bacon?
No.
Oh man, that sounds like a sad life to me.
He brings home the bacon, but no. Okay?
That's right. Yeah, so, don't inherit the motivation of the seller, which is oftentimes what happens if you don't have a buyer for your deals. So then you're like, oh my God.
Say that again. That's such a good line. Say that again.
Don't inherit the motivation of the seller. That's what happens oftentimes when you're getting started with it, because you just built this great relationship, and you went through the whole process, and you got a purchase agreement signed, and now the expectations are set, and the whole process, the map is laid out to get to the closing, unless you can't find a buyer for it. And if you can't find a buyer for it, then all of a sudden you're a liar. If you can't find a buyer for it, then all of a sudden, all of this rapport that you built goes and disappears. So then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get this out, and I'm going to have to reach out to all the buyers. And if they don't want it, oh no, what's going to happen then? And so it makes you make silly decisions because your emotions get mixed into it. And emotions are our biggest expense. As an entrepreneur, our emotions are our biggest expense. So we have to it's really important, like Pace is saying, if you have somebody that goes, at this price, I will buy it. Okay, so you will buy it at this price. Okay, great. Now you have room to go and negotiate.
Yeah, that's a really good line. I got to steal that from you.
Yep.
Your emotions are your biggest expense. And it can
and those buyers you can pre-sell to them, meaning if you've got somewhat of a relationship, they'll go look at the deal. They'll tell you their number before you've even negotiated a contract. Now you got to be careful with that a little bit, but I do that all the time. And I know Jamil did that for Pace. Jamil says to Pace, here's my number. I don't care what you go get it for, but here's what I'll pay. And, he takes a look at it and tells you that number. So you're kind of removing the risk, and you're removing the barriers to prevent you from over contracting on deals. That's what that does. Because nothing's worse than egg on your face when you got to call up and back out of a deal, especially with agents, because you can't do that very long before they'll stop taking you serious. And there's not that many of them, so you don't want to do that.
Yeah, and this is a good question right here. Ahava Israel says, what would be the reason for the buyers to not steal my deal? Okay, the only people I have ever had even try to attempt to steal my deal were other wholesalers.
Yeah.
Okay. Fix and flippers like Elman, no offense to Elman, he is not sitting in a living room negotiating with sellers, nor does he have the capacity to do that. One, he's busy. Two, his zone of genius is flipping houses. He buys from wholesalers. He doesn't even have, you ask Elman what prop wire is, like, what's prop wire? He's not on the same podcast.
He wants you to keep bringing him deals. He's not going to steal it from you. He wants you to bring him more.
The only people that will steal a deal from you are fellow wholesalers. And so the way to verify somebody is a legitimate buyer is to go on public record, see that they've actually bought a property. That would be PropWire, right? PropWire.com/Jerry has llamas in his farm.
Not yet.
Get yourself a free. It's free. PropWire is free, dude. Like, I think it's like if you have 5 kids, he gives you the unlimited plan for free. I think that's what it is. You guys have the kid pack or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is interesting how that part of the business kept me from doing anything. I was so crippled by the fear of saying I'm a cash buyer when I really wasn't. I had a hard time getting over that, me personally.
Yeah.
And when Jamil and other mentors entered my life, like Bethany, that said, I'm your buyer, go find me a deal, the world opened up to me and I could go out and chase the deals. And I had all the confidence in the world. And it was like, wait, how many more times can I do this? Unlimited? I remember my first question at Brent. I'd been in the business for 5 years at this time. And I said, so Brent, when are all the good deals going to run out? Do you remember this question?
Yeah.
I said, so at the time I was only spending money on direct mail, PPC, PPL, and people were calling me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in 2018 or like 2017-ish, I was just about to partner with Cody Barton in 2018. So I think it might have been 2017. So I go to Brent and I'm like, these foreclosures and these probates and these things that you guys are calling on, like, aren't they going to run out? Like, don't we all just go buy all the ugly houses? I don't get it. How are there any houses left? I legit,
as if there's a finite amount of them or something. Yeah.
Yes, I legit had this concern with Brent. Brent's like, how long have you been in this business? Like, tell me you're stupid. Like, the amount of deals that keep popping up every single day, foreclosures, divorces, job loss, probate, inheritance, absentee owners, tired landlords, all these things is endless, Pace.
Well, think about 10%, 6 to 10% at all times.
Think about it. I think about it this way. Right now, there's somebody distressing a house or their finances that will become a seller tomorrow, right? Because there's never going to be a lack of distressed real estate. It's because it's happening real time.
Right.
Well, and listen to these stats, because I just talked to Spencer Caldwell, who apparently has amazing barbecue, for whoever asked that before. Incredible barbecue, but he is
building a new place.
He did one in the East Valley and he's doing another one in Glendale, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said that there's 1,000 wholesale deals a month. There's 1,000 deals a month, give or take, maybe 100 in there, but it usually averages that. That's 12,000 a year.
In Phoenix.
And 6%. Well, I mean, I've looked at every single list, guys. I've had data scientists. I've spent $40,000 a year on which list to go after. There's 120 to 150,000 opportunities every year. 120 to 150, 6%. Typically it's 6 to 10% of the real estate market. There's 2 million houses in Arizona, in Maricopa County. So there's 120,000. We're doing 12,000 a year. That means 90% of the houses out there are not selling, are not going through the process. It is a conveyor belt, guys. We aren't even putting a dent into it. The day that you can drive around in your area and not see an ugly house is the day we live in utopia, and we shouldn't be worrying about anything anyway, because obviously the world's figured itself out and we can just live, by bartering everything with everybody. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. Houses are like living, breathing things. They fall apart all the time. If you're not constantly pouring $2,000 to $3,000 to $5,000 into your property every single year, it will fall apart. It will. Yeah. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And so, Herbie, what's your question today?
Yeah.
Sorry, no Pace. There's no question.
Okay, bye. I had a feeling she did this. I know Purdy.
Did you see her face when you brought her up? She was shocked. She's like, "Whoa, I'm on the thing."
Steven Hernandez, what do you got for us, brother?
Just real quick, Jerry and Pace, just gratitude. I came out of Squad Up Summit with so much clarity and focus. My problem now is staring at the screen and looking at the buyer's information and just making that call, man. It's so hard, especially in like the pre-foreclosure guys. I know they're in a tough spot because I've been there personally, and I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing or.
This is an easy one, Steven. Steven, go on the Closers Cafe tomorrow in Subto. Go in that Zoom. They call live and they help each other out. They pair up with each other. Tuesday, Closers Cafe. Also, in the mornings with Caroline Kane, she does a training every morning, 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., where they call live and they pair up with each other. That is exactly where I would go if you were having a hard time picking up the phone. Great.
Yeah,
question.
the question truly is, do you think that you can help? You know, do you think that you can help? And if you think you can help, then go with pride and go and have a servant's heart.
Hey, Miguel Swift, who's that person behind you?
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, guys?
Who's that person behind you?
That was my madre.
Let's see Mom. We want to see Mom.
Hey.
Hi, Mom.
That's
Miguel Swift. What do you got for us today,
yes,
brother? How can we help you?
So let me get some D-Ryan out the way. So I'm part of Jamil's Astro squad, which is great. I watch you, Brent, every morning, darn near, so that's cool. Jerry, awesome. I've been watching you since you were bald with the glasses, so I've been watching you for a while.
Long time.
And Pace, I've always watched you, and I was watching some of your Novation videos too, because I have this deal out here in SoCal. It's in, I believe, Van Nuys or whatever, some of these. So this seller's been putting this house on, it's on market, but he's been putting it on for 1.2, similar to what Jamie had, I guess. He put it on for 1.2. So this is my first time kind of doing this. So I have a kind of Novation deal. So I was kind of putting out like, maybe I'll just kind of do a rehab, right? Maybe I'll fund a rehab and maybe put on the MLS, and then whatever number you're kind of comfortable with, you just take that off of the net, and then whatever after that I get just, you know, is just kind of what I'll get netted. So
yes,
I want to know what you guys think about that, and how do you actually structure that? And I mean, I'm still.
Have you watched my videos about how much I hate Novations?
Do you hate them a lot?
I just think it's one of the most risky structures of paperwork that you can jump into. At the end of the day, a Novation is a partnership with the seller, right? That's sure. Essentially what it is. Mm-hmm. The seller's letting you flip their house without having to buy it. They're partnering with you so they can get the number they want, and you can make some money on the back end. Mm-hmm. I would rather you do an executory contract, and an easy way to do that is find a transaction coordinator that can do the paperwork for you. Mm-hmm. Email Molly at pacemorby.com, and she'll connect you with a transaction coordinator that can help you out with it. Essentially, all you're doing is you're becoming a part owner of the property temporarily. Without a Novation agreement, doesn't give you as much security as actually being an owner of the property. Sure. Right? The seller can change their mind. There's some problems involved. It's a little bit hairier. Are Novations successful? Are there a lot of people that make money with Novations? Yes, but it just has some blind spots like actual ownership. So if I were you, I would do an executory contract. You're in California, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so in California, that'd be a contract for deed, is what it's called.
What's it called?
Contract for deed. Okay, just email Molly at pacemorby.com and say, can you introduce me to a transaction coordinator that can help me out? She'll find somebody for you to bring onto the transaction.
Okay, all right.
She might even connect you. She might even just connect you with a Subto member that might just partner with you on the deal. That probably is the best thing for you to do, unless you have the capital and the wherewithal to be able to do it. Can you?
Well, I'm looking for the capital right now. So this is the thing as well. So the agent that I called, this was actually, it's her uncle's like house, but she's the agent. So she was kind of putting it out there, and her uncle's the one that was kind of like steadfast on this price. So I'm looking to do just kind of partner up with her actually on flips, because she's really experienced in that, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing with anything. So I'm just kind of learning from someone and trying to just figure out, you know, just different ways to kind of go with sure. everything. So that would be the thing that was kind of the agreement, but more or less like a handshake thing.
And can I call the seller and the agent right now?
Can you call her?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, give me. Hold on a second. Can you DM me the name and the phone? Can you DM me on Instagram real fast?
All right, hold on.
What I want to do is I want to say, hey, I'm going to be Miguel's partner on this, financial partner on this deal. And I just had a couple of questions. Do you mind if I do that?
No, that should be fine.
Okay, cool.
Here, I'll put it in the private chat. I don't have an IG, but
what?
I know. I hear from everybody. I know.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Like,
Put it in the
you can
private chat,
if you want while I put it in here.
Let's call this agent real quick, and I'll show you how to set this up and at least kind of walk through kind of a novation conversation.
So hopefully she'll pick up. So here it's. Let me see where it is.
It better not be your mom's phone number.
It's not my mom. My mom wants nothing to do with any of this. Trust me. She
seemed like she was pretty happy to see Jerry.
She might have been. Should I ask her? Should I set her up?
Set her up, bro. He's got a farm and everything.
So I put her number in the private chat. I don't know if you can see
her name's Tina. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so she's an agent, like investor. So she's done all this stuff, and you know what I mean.
Okay, cool.
That's that. Let's see what she says. Why do you have people calling me? No, I'm just kidding.
She won't say that. Can you guys hear this?
Yep.
Please leave your message for 3-1.
Straight to voice. She sent you there, Pace. She sent you there.
She's an agent. She's probably on the other line.
Please leave your message for
3. She's not.
Don't feel bad. I get that too sometimes. So don't feel. I have to text her. I have to text her and do all that stuff.
So here's what I would have done for you.
Sounds like a California real estate agent.
This is why I wanted to do this. I want to make that call. Number one, I wanted to show you how to navigate away from a novation agreement and go to a contract for deed and a partnership with the seller. I wanted you to stay away from novation agreements.
Okay.
I think they're unsafe. If they're there's more ways to fail on a novation agreement is all I'm saying. Can you do it airtight and amazing? Yes, it's just there's more steps involved and there's more blind spots than there are other strategies. So
and the seller can unwind it at closing. You know, they can be like, no.
But a contract for deed, they cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so Jerry and I actually have this amazing playlist on his channel. I would go and watch that. But in the meantime, what I was going to call her and say is like, hey, I just met Miguel. He was telling me about you, that you're doing a lot of flips. I want to be your funding partner on all of your deals. Mm-hmm. And I'm so excited about the relationship. I just wanted to call and introduce myself. Also, he told me about this really cool deal that you guys are actively working on right now. How's that going? Is there anything I can do to help? And I would have just opened up the conversation. That's how I would have started.
Yeah, that sounded. I'm ready to.
I know. I know how to close. I watched Jerry Norton tell it, bro. I know how to close a deal. So here's the reason why I wanted to do that is because what's also great about partnering up with somebody is that somebody a little bit more experienced than you can have those calls for you on your behalf. So all of you guys that are out here watching this live right now, if you want like my top 500 buyers in the country that I do deals with, DM me 500. Just DM me the word 500. And I will connect you with somebody in your local area that can fund your deals, partner with you, walk through with your sellers. I will give you somebody in your local area. This is SoCal?
Yeah.
Very nice.
I got 50 people in SoCal, but I'll connect you with somebody in SoCal that can help you fund these deals, run these transactions, partner with you, bring contractors to the table. You need resources. You need people to help you out. And Miguel, I feel like that's the one thing you're missing.
And I would consider too, contract for D to D. Those are great, but I would also consider just taking it down and buying it. Buy it off market. Now you own it and turn around and resell it back on market. I mean that's, and you can get the funding. We talked about that earlier on the show. Why I ask myself this all the time: why does somebody do a novation? Well, they can't buy it deep enough to where it's a good cash price that you can wholesale. So now they need to take it to the retail market. And the only reason why you would do a novation, which is way complicated, I mean, you better manage that seller really, really well, or it's going to unwind, especially if you're making decent money. If you're making 15 grand, the seller's going to be like, yeah, whatever. But if you're making 50 grand and they see that, they're going to lose their mind most of the time and it's going to fall apart. Why not just buy the dang thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I would say the reason why people like to do novations, Jerry, is because they're afraid of commitment. They want to date the cow, get the milk, and not have to buy the cow, if that makes sense. And so what I had this gentleman join Subto 5 years ago, June 3rd. This day goes down in infamy for me. June 3rd, 2020. We launched Subto June 2nd of 2020. And on my second Zoom I had a gentleman named DJ that came on, and I walked him through his first novation. He went off to make $80,000 on this deal. And 2 months later, his seller was like, I'm canceling. I'm keeping the house myself. Bro, my paperwork is the shit.
Damn. Hey.
And I just said, all right. I told the whole Subto community, I go, we're not doing novations in here anymore. You guys should be doing contract for deeds, land contracts, agreements for sale. Go executory contract is what it's called. And if you have to go novation, great. But just know you're going down a path where a seller can, and every once in a while will, when they find out how much you're listing the house for, they will try and unravel or renegotiate with you and try and take more money. What DJ ended up having to do is giving the seller 20 grand more to let them close the deal, because that's what it would have cost him in legal fees to go after and sue the seller.
We had one Pace here a couple months ago, and it was a 6-figure spread. And the minute the seller saw that, they lost their mind. And it was like a Tuesday, and they're threatening to cancel. And we ended up having to go cash and close like in 3 days. Otherwise, if they were like, if you don't get us to cash in 3 days, we're wiping this all out. And so it was just a disaster. I would bet, this is my guess, Pace, I don't know if this is accurate because they won't be honest about it, but people who are like novation only that specialize in just doing novations, I would bet they have about a 50% fallout rate on their contracts.
Probably.
I think one out of two never make it to closing for all the reasons we just talked about. So you better know going into it that you're going to be having to manage that seller all the way through the process.
Yeah. And there's a place for them, but I just think that there's safer things to do. I would go on my YouTube channel or Jerry's YouTube channel and type in executory contracts Pace Morby or executory contracts Jerry Norton. We did a cool playlist and we talked about those. And again, for those of you guys asking in the side chat, like MT, typing in the word 500 in YouTube comments is not DMing me. So I'm going to teach you guys what DMing is as my final words of the night, and then Brent and Jerry can sign us off. But DMing means direct message, and YouTube does not have that capability. It's not really a social media platform. Instagram is where people DM. So go on Instagram, message me on Instagram. That's called a DM, and just type in the word 500 and I'll connect you with some of the best people on the planet in the country. Brent, what do you have going on this week, brother?
I've got a live show on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel that is Wednesday at 10 o'clock Arizona time. So we are the same as Pacific time. So what is that? Is it 3 hours now? East Coast?
East Coast is 3 hours ahead of us.
1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be breaking down a cold call and giving you tips on how to be really, really confident and effective on the phone. And so join us. That'd be awesome.
Jerry Norton, what do you have going on, brother?
Nothing much. Just putting out regular content like always for years and years on end, 3 or 4 videos a week. So, and I'm probably going to buy another American flag hat this week for sure.
I'm going to buy one for you. And I'm going to get that guy to sign it. I'm going to flip him. It's going to be great. Guys, we love you. Wholesale Hotline, episode 265, 5+ years of consistent love and appreciation for those of you guys trying to get into the wholesale game. We will see you guys next week, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here live on YouTube. Later.
See you.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3. So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say that thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.